So somebody's watching this, dude. They relapsed after 15 years, and they're about ready to shut this channel off because they're like, it doesn't sound
well,
like...
I'm going to say get off your couch and go to a meeting or get connected because there's some sort of disconnection.
Is there a softer way? Or let's take this reality. Let's say, okay, if that whole program was supposed to work, it would have worked, and it didn't work. So this next segment is really interesting. This is that news article. And here, let me read the headline. Digital rehab is helping tackle America's opioid crisis. Here's how. And it goes on and it gives a couple of bullet points. I'm not going to read the whole article, but it says, the COVID-19 pandemic has seen the rapid adoption of telehealth in the U.S. as regulation has been relaxed. It has also seen a rise in drug overdose deaths, many attributed to synthetic opioids. I want to talk about that in a moment after I read the rest of the points. But also, I want to talk about, maybe you know about this, Chris, where people are cutting meth with things like fentanyl and things like that. So we are seeing a lot more overdoses for a variety of reasons. A lot of them just because more people are doing more today. But then the next point says here, digital rehab startup WorkKit Health. So WorkKit Health must be an organization. Offers group meetings and one-on-one counseling from the comfort of people's homes. It could be the key to tackling the U.S. opioid epidemic. I am going to raise my hand and say I disagree.
Thank God.
As the host of this show, I'm going to say I disagree. However, that doesn't mean I'd oppose.
Yeah.
I'm going to be neutral. What I'm going to say, here's what I disagree to. I disagree that digital online rehab is the key to the U.S. opioid epidemic. I would say, and I mean, everybody here would subscribe to the same faith, so we're gonna say that our higher power is the key. But let's entertain this a little bit and have a conversation around this in more of a practical, earthly sense, and just say, what do we think about the idea of online? Let me just stop right there and just turn it over to you guys. Online digital rehab. Go.
Obviously, I'm just going to start here. And I don't want this to be a mic drop moment, but obviously whoever came up with the idea is completely out of touch with who is coming into recovery.
Sure.
Obviously, where we're at, if you guys don't know, I'm associate pastor at Faith Foundry Church, and we have a huge hand in the recovery community. I maybe know one guy in all that we've worked with that have said, hey, I need to come out of addiction, I need help, that has had a phone. Not just a phone, like a smartphone.
Oh.
I don't know anyone that started with a computer.
Gotcha.
And so how can you do this type of recovery unless you're already like, I own a home, you don't have to own a home, I have a computer, but already have success in life some point, but maybe you stumbled along. This is where I see that could have a point of helping people that have had some stumbling along the way, but and they are huge into technology. Maybe their job, has them on a computer all day. That maybe this could help. I'm just saying maybe because there's a lot of caveats to this.
There is.
But I'm just saying the biggest point that hit my head is like, okay, whoever made this obviously did not have in mind so and so we see on the street every day.
Yeah, it sounds to me like if you guys have heard of Kaiser Permanente, this is not a knock on Kaiser Permanente. I neither endorse nor oppose Kaiser Permanente, but I actually went through a Kaiser Permanente rehab when I worked for a large organization. It was completely funded, and I was given medical leave at my company. And it was like a middle class recovery, like alcoholic at home, has a normal middle class life, is having some struggles, and I go to rehab. It almost sounds to me like they're talking about those people,
it's
right?
Those people. It's the people that are addicted. It's
the
people
that can already afford. They've already got a Mercedes. They've got a 3-story house, and they're having a struggle. They just drank some vodka before they came to work.
I like the point where you said this could be the key from the comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
Dude, that right there.
From the comfort of anything. That's
the word comfort does not exist when you're first coming into recovery.
Yeah.
At least it didn't for me. I was in bad place. Like a lot of people, like almost everyone you have to.
It's frustrating, huh?
It is.
Because here,
It's really
the comfort of my own
frustrating because
home was me sitting down, cracking, well, not a beer, it was a vodka. You think I'm going to recover in the same place that I was sitting when I was drinking vodka?
No,
especially if you're addicted to pornography.
Yeah.
My friend.
Hey, we want you to stop looking at pornography, and now you're going to go to recovery on the computer that you are looking at pornography from.
Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole digital online recovery right there, that's disconnect.
It is.
I mean, that's disconnection. You're not connected to anyone but yourself and
a program.
A program. That's not going to work.
Recovery is not a program.
Yeah, but what? Okay, so
recovery is a connection.
Let's entertain this idea. Let me play devil's advocate and say, what about augmenting recovery? Are there? Okay, do you see the landscape changing? Or okay, first of all, agree or disagree? The landscape to recovery's changed.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree, and I would say there's a digital aspect that wasn't really there.
Well, it's going along with the times. Times are changing. Things are going to be different.
And even this podcast, the fact that I'm doing a YouTube channel is part of that changing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the second part of that is do you think it's possible to realistically augment, what I mean by that is, do you think that we can augment that to where it's still interactive, it's still relational, it's just done through like streaming or not streaming, but like I don't know, Skype or Zoom. Mm. Do you think there's a difference between Skype and Zoom and then being in the room with the person?
I think there's a huge difference.
Okay.
Of course. There has to be.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we actually, as part of our leadership at Faith Foundry, we had this talk because we were like, man, is there ways we can improve the stuff that we want out there? Can we have really interactive Zoom calls and all this stuff? And it's like, when it comes down to it, just like what Chris is saying, no matter what way you slice it, no matter how fancy your Zoom call, your podcast, no matter what it entails, how interactive it is, there's a disconnection. Because at the end of the day, someone's interacting with their phone screen or their computer screen.
Yeah, that's true.
There's something about, now, sorry if you guys ain't Christians watching this, but there's something about the spirit of being in the room with someone, about being in the conversation in the moment, not just hearing words, but actually it's all about relationship. And honestly, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be saying this forever.
Yeah.
This is why we see people that are in recovery for 15 years and are relapsing. And it happens all the time at 15 plus years, whatever, however many years you got. It happens all the time. Why? Because most of the time these people are just in recovery and they're doing their program and they're holding on and they're not going past. Because honestly, there has to be more than just recovery. Because if we're all just in recovery, then we're all just addicts. But we're more than that. Once we overcome addiction, we can step into more. But what happens is when we're doing it on our own, the recovery on our own in our own program, for example, let's say I'm going through the rehab thing online. If I'm doing it on my own, that's just me and my own recovery. And honestly, we call that white knuckling it because there's...
Yep, and you can't white knuckle. White knuckling is all about like endurance, energy. You're going to get tired.
Yeah.
You can't white knuckle it forever. You might be able to get a little ways, but white knuckling, there is no longevity in that.
Exactly.
And one thing I want to say about people that are having like 15 years clean and sober and that are relapsing, out of probably 100% of the people have been disconnected. They're isolating. They've become stagnant in their recovery.
Yep.
When you're in recovery, it's an everyday thing.
Yep.
I mean, when you were in your active addiction, it was an everyday thing. You didn't, not use one day because,
Totally. Well, what would you say to somebody? So somebody's watching this, dude. They relapsed after 15 years, and they're about ready to shut this channel off because they're like, it doesn't sound like...
I'm going to say get off your couch and go to a meeting or get connected because there's some sort of disconnection.
Is there a softer way? Or let's take this reality. Let's say, okay, if that whole program was supposed to work, it would have worked. And it didn't work. So can we say maybe this is an opportunity to get some buy-in and say, hey, there might be something else that's missing in my recovery that hasn't traditionally been there in what I've known about recovery. Yeah. And I would say that missing element is relationship.
Absolutely.
Would you guys agree?
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So what I want to say to the audience, and I'll break away to talk to you guys for just a second. It's very key that this channel is really going to, or this podcast, whichever one you're watching, either YouTube or the podcast, that we're looking at this from a wide scope. We're not excluding anybody. So everybody in this room particularly is Christian right now, but we're not anti-you. We're not opposed to you. And we're not going to judge you for not sharing our faith system right now. But what we do recognize is that there has to be a relationship center holding this thing we call recovery together for meaningful progress. And meaningful progress it's just going to keep going, right? So you might not believe in the God of Abraham and Isaac of Jacob, or the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob today, but 10 years from now is 10 years from now. So just get on the journey and stick around. And I hope that we are helpful in providing you great content influence. I do want to switch gears, and that was a provocative article, huh? Thank you for checking out this clip from the Position Recovery Podcast. The entire podcast is available on our other channel. There's a link in the description box below, so you can go check it out. The full audio program is available on your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify, Pandora, and Google Podcasts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Finally, if you'd like access to exclusive members-only content, or maybe you just want to support us in what we're doing financially, head on over to patreon.com/position, where there are a variety of giving levels and one that is perfect for your budget. It's always awesome hanging out with you guys. And remember, many are called, but you are positioned.